Hi everyone, this is a WeVideo introduction to the video editor, and the goal of this video is to be an introductory video where you can know nothing about WeVideo and really get started. So it'll take some time because there's lots of things you can do in WeVideo, and I want to show you, certainly not all of them, but a number of them, so you can get started making videos. This is the main dashboard of WeVideo, and if I want to get started making a video, I really have to start with a project because all videos reside in a project. So I'm going to go click projects, and I have a couple started already, but I want a new one. So I'm going to go over to this plus button over here. If I hover over it, it says create new project. I'm going to say test project. I've got to give it some kind of name. I can skip the description. Now I'm just going to say this is a personal project. It's just me working on it. I have a different video if you want to see more about the collaborative type of projects. This shared is really just for classrooms. Test project. It's going to ask me if all the media I've already uploaded here to WeVideo, if I want to use any of this in my next project. I'm just going to hit next for now and kind of skip over this step. And I can hit create video and get started. When I hit create video, really now I'm for the first time in the WeVideo video editing interface. This is like where I can make the movie. And there's really three main parts, and you can move them around with kind of clicking on these three dots and moving this around. But it kind of shows you these three parts in doing that. You've got this part, which is a preview area. Like if I come over here and click on a photo I have uploaded, it'll just pop it over into the preview area. Here it is. It's just so I can see it a little bit more. If I have a video, it's going to put it into the preview area. I can pause that. This isn't in my movie yet. It's just it's previewing it, seeing if I want to use it. So I've got this area, my preview. Kind of already started to show you this, but this is an area where it's like all the stuff I can use in my video. We've got photos, videos, audio, and over here we've got transitions and backgrounds, and we'll kind of get into that as we get going. You can import media into WeVideo, so you can bring in other photos, other videos. I believe I have another video that shows you just about importing media and getting that ready before you start making a video. So check that out rather than me getting into this now. Recording, I'll show you this real quick. You can click record from this space and actually record, a short video from your webcam, or a short video of your screen, or a short video with both of those, kind of like a picture-in-picture. If you use this interface to do that, you'll get that kind of recording feature, and it'll pop that new media into this space under My Media. And it just becomes another video that you can use in a bigger project. And then down below, you have what's called a timeline. And let me drag a couple things down here, just so you start to see these lines. There you go. There's a photo. I'm going to bring this video down. The video's pretty long. But you start to see how you can take media that you have uploaded and bring it down into really your video. So everything down here is like the movie that you're going to make. And making a video is really a decision of what comes first. That's this photo in this example. What comes next, right? What is the order of things chronologically? First, second, next, last. But it's also, what do I see at the same time, right? So we're going to show you some of that. And if you have more than one thing at the same time, you're going to layer them. So they're going to be actually stacked on top of each other. vertically. So at this moment in time in my video, I've got 2 pieces of media. I'll show you more about this in just a minute. So let's say I am going to make a video about lions. I'm going to show you how to create kind of an introduction. Up here, the video is just called My Video by default. If I click that, I can kind of rename this. I'm going to start with, let's see, some text on the screen. It says what this topic is. So if I click text, I see a whole bunch of options. There's titles, captions. So these are smaller text on screen. Multi-line, bigger titles. Seasonal, special. You can kind of explore these. This is not all of your options. There's a little see all button here. So if I want to see all the titles, I got to click this. That's pretty important to see all your choices because there's a lot of them. Again, if I'm interested, this one says motion. So if I click this, you can see it in my preview area. That's kind of interesting. Let me try to use this. I'm going to click it and bring it down to my video. I'm going to put it here. And obviously my video is not called customized text, colors, and fonts. So I want to change that. As a general rule of thumb, once you have something in your timeline, you can double click it. Go ahead and do that now. And you can do more with it. And that depends on what that thing is that you're double clicking. This was a title scene. And so what this is going to do is allow me to click in here and change the text. And you can see this line is the top line here. I can mess around with the size of the fonts and the color of the fonts. In this case, it looks like there are, looks like 3 colors, 4 colors. We've got a text color, probably the other text color. The red, I think you can see on the screen. This white is probably a white at the end, and I can tell if I click this and make it a different color. Yeah. So I really wanted that a different color. I could do that. It's a little kind of too much for me. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'll change the title, My Video About Lines. Hit save. It's going to go right here. So this is my opening video. Right. Kind of pretty boring so far, but we're just getting started. I want to add something to it. I want more than just that. I want to hear something. WeVideo has, I think this space I showed you at the beginning, this is things I've uploaded, my media, but it also has a huge bank of other videos, images, and audio. It says videos, images, and audio. These are things that WeVideo has that we can use. So I don't know if they're going to have a lion roar, but I'm going to look for it. So audio, I'm going to search for lion, see what I come up with. If I click any of these, again, it's going to preview it for me. I'm not going to put it in my movie, but I'm going to click on it and see what happens. Great. I got some lion roaring. I want to use it. So I want this to happen at this. I'm going to click it and bring it down into my video. You'll notice that it's highlighted in red, which kind of means I can't put it there because these are video lines on the track. I'm going to put it down below. You can see to the far left, it says audio right here. So I can add audio really only on an audio line. If I want both of these to happen at the same time, if I want to see my title screen and hear those roars, I've got to stack these up vertically speaking. So here we go. So now they're stacked so that at this, all of these moments here, both of these things should be happening at the same time. Right? Now, obviously, the audio is going to keep going even though the title is done. So if I keep playing this, the line does not seem happy. But I've got this whole audio track. I can put other things to it, right? I'm going to go back to, I'm going to find some images. I'm going to click images here. I'm just going to focus on, using the bank of things from WeVideo for making your own original video. I would not suggest to use this stuff because it looks really generic. It looks like somebody else created it. But I'm using it for the purpose of showing you how to edit, how to get media, put it together, put it in a timeline. So I like, this photo. Let's say this photo and this photo. I'll bring them down here into my timeline. It's pretty hard to see, but if I hover over one of these, it says 5 seconds on that little black box with white text. I can make any of these photos longer than 5 seconds. I can grab the end of them and stretch them out. And really to very specific numbers. So 9.3 is going to equal 10. So it's not your typical decimal or 1/100th of a second here. So it's a little over 9 seconds. This is 5. And I can make this one shorter to, almost 3 seconds. So I can just kind of stack these up on top of one another. And if I hit play, I'll get my line sound, I'll get my title screen, and then I'll get my first line. And so then you can start to see like, okay, now you're putting together a video. You've got a series of pieces of media. I've got text. I've got multiple images. I've got some sound effects. Transitions is another kind of object you can use. It's kind of an interesting thing to call it an object, but it's transitions. So what's happening between one visual piece of media and the next. Excuse me. So if I click any of these, it'll show me an example of that. So here's a crossfade, which just means a fade from one image to the next, right? There you go. So I'll click it again. Waterfalls to the city, right? And I think the simpler the better here. These can get really kind of annoying really quickly, like that, right? That's a transition from the city to the waterfalls. Paper plane, right? Kind of cool, but this stuff can get really distracting to a video really quickly. So I'm just going to use this crossfade, and I just have to drag it down again onto my video. I'm going to drag it and see how it's kind of snaps in between these two pictures. That's perfect because it's a transition between two images. So I'm going to snap that there. I'm going to snap this here. And I'm going to play this again just between these two images so you can see how they'll kind of fade one into the other. Yeah, so there's two transitions there, and that's kind of helpful. This little blue fader, I'll let you I'm moving it right now, and see how it's making all of this stuff bigger. It doesn't mean this line's on screen longer. It's just it's kind of stretching this out so I can see things a little bit better. if I want to kind of fade this line in, again, if I click this line, I get a number of things. A pencil, I can edit, do some editing. I'll show you that in a second. But if I just want to fade, here's a fade button. So if I want to say I want to fade in the first second, I can click one, and you see this like green line up here. See, that's the visual component. So it's going to fade in. So it's going to look like black, right? And then it's slowly slowly over 1 second, it's going to fade in. So it's just a little change. We'll play that again, but you'll see instead of the line like jumping on screen, it'll slowly fade in. Right? Again, slowly over a second. If you want that to be longer than a second, you could grab this and move that. You could also click this button again instead of 1.6. You could say over 2 seconds. Remember, this isn't super long, so there we go. We've got a fade. If I wanted to fade out at the end, I'll say this is the end of my video or the end of this section. Again, I could click this fade button. I don't really want to do a fade at the beginning of this photo because it's already fading in from the other photo with this transition. But if I want to fade out, I can highlight this and do 2 seconds. So I'm just kind of fading out. Right. I'm going to show you how to cut a piece of media. Again, with a photo, you can just kind of grab the end and kind of move it around. You can do that as well with music or audio. So I could get to the end of this audio file and just click the end and pull it back. I'm actually just kind of cutting it in many ways. But it might be better if I decide, right here, I want the audio to end. So I can kind of put this blue cursor here. I can make sure that rather than this lion photo being selected, I can select this audio file. And right here, I want to cut. So I'm just going to cut. All it does is kind of, puts a cut in the file. It'll still play the same. So if I played this, it's still going to play through as if the cut was never there. But right now, if I want this to be gone, I can just highlight this one and hit delete. And that whole end of the audio just kind of disappears. Just like I was able to fade out the video, I can fade out the audio. If you come over here to kind of a menu, I guess, on this track, you can do a number of things. I can click this down arrow and see it larger on my screen. That's helpful sometimes. If you have lots of lines at some point, you might want those pretty small. And so I can click this and make that really small, right? But if I'm interested in fading this out, I might want it big. There's a bunch of things here. I can hit show levels. So it's going to say where are the levels of the audio. Just blue line across the top because it's just here as loud as it was originally made, and I want to lower it. I want to lower it at the end. So on this line, I can just click it, make this kind of white dot. There's a white dot here. Once you have 2 white dots, you can just kind of take one and drag it down and make a bend in it, And it doesn't have to be straight from 100% down to 0%. I could make couple other. I can make as many of these as I want. So I could fade it out a little bit and then kind of fade it out quicker, then kind of just have it kind of gradually get to 0, at least at this point. If I go back up here and I just want to see how this looks and sounds, I can just move this blue cursor to where I want to preview it, and hit play. So what I'll see in the preview menu now is not the media I can use, but I'm going to see in the preview area the actual video I'm making. So what you saw and heard there are two fades, right? We've got this visual fade. You can see it in the green, right? And this audio fade, right? Those are just kind of fading out. Audio is super great, I think, for transitions, and you'll want to kind of mess around with kind of levels, right? And again, if I've got this level here, I can click these dots and really just kind of change, bend like the volume of that track in all kinds of different ways. Right. I'm going to put these back up here. Because I might just want a piece of music in the background. Let's do that very lightly. So now I'm going to stack two audio tracks on top of each other. There's only one audio track right here, and I want to add a track. I'm going to go ahead and click this plus button here. And I want to add an audio track. So I'm going to say audio, hit add track. So this other track down here. And I have to scroll down to see it. I'm going to go find some audio. And I am just going to listen. I don't know what this song is, but it's very dramatic. But we'll try and use it. I'm just going to grab it and bring it down to audio 2. And it's going to be way too loud because I just want it a little bit in the background, but I'll show you way too loud. There's too much competing there. Like, it's actually not as loud as I thought, but it's louder than I want. So I want to hear these roars a little bit more. So I can click this track. I've already clicked. There's a tiny blue line that surrounds the track that says it's clicked. I can go over here and lower this. So rather than up here, I clicked all these and kind of changed the volume of the track at different moments in the track. What I'm doing here is I'm changing the volume of any piece of audio that's ever going to be in this track line, whether it's this piece or if I scroll down here and put in, I put another song after it. When I mess around with this fader here, it's everything in this track. So this is just trial and error. I moved it from 100 down to like 24. You'll notice you can go above 100. You can like make it louder. I'm going to go way down to somewhere around 20. And I'm going to go here where the roars are happening and just kind of play it. And this is a lot of trial and error, just trying it out. Does it look and sound the way you want it? And you know what? I mean, those roars are so loud, it's probably too low. So I'm gonna bring this back up. Let's try 35. Trial. And there you go. This song is way too long. So if I'm pretending my video ends around here, I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut this track. So I'm gonna select the track, and I am just going to hit cut. I'm gonna select the second part here and hit delete, and it just kind of disappears. Now, if I decided that I wanted more of this, I could just grab the end here where I have this arrow, and just pull it this way. It actually kind of, it never really loses the soundtrack. It's just going to allow it to go farther, or I can pull it back this way. We have to do something with this because you're going to have a song that just stops in the middle. Nobody wants that. So it's just going to sound like, right. That's a little abrupt. So we would need to like fade that out or something. You can try that right now. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to make this kind of track larger. I'm going to click these three dots, hit show levels. And you can tell at this moment that song kind of gets louder again. You can hear it. And so maybe around here, I want to try and start fading it out. Let's see what that sounds like. All right. Not perfect, but way better, right? It feels like that's the end, right? I've got kind of the visual stuff fading out, words are fading out, songs fading out. And I kind of like this staggered approach where not everything's fading out at the same time. The roar's kind of, the last roar you're hearing is around here. You're seeing the line till here, and then you've got the music a little bit later. I'm going to add some end credits to this film. It is a type of text, so I'm going to go to text. I'm going to go to, I guess it's under special. We could do this. This looks like a credit. I'm going to grab this again and put it in my video. And here is, right, this is just generic. Again, I can double click it and go in here and edit this. So if I have a director, Sam Donaldson, if I was produced, who is in charge, I can put somebody else's name there. Actor number 1, line number 1. Actor number 2, line number 2, right? I can make this say anything I want. I can also kind of change all of this. So I could, in terms of a font, bold, italic, underline, the color of the text, the background. Do I want it centered, which it is right now, or to the left, or to the right? The size of the font, it's right here. So let me just highlight all of this and maybe change the font a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. It's you can see it's coming out of this text box, so I have to kind of move this around, and there we go. And it doesn't all fit on there, and it's okay based on what I'm going to do next. I want my text to not just stay on the screen, but kind of move from the bottom to the top, like I imagine credits look like in a movie. This animation, if I click it here, I can say, where do I want this text box to start and where to end? So here's start. And I can drag this around. So the starting position, I'm actually going to have way down here off the screen. And when this is all done, when this part has ended, I want this text box to be off the screen this way. That means it's just going to move from below to above, right? And so I can hit this play button and kind of look at that. I'll show you what to do if you want that to move faster or slower, but it's actually not in here. I like it. I'm gonna hit save. And if I want that text box to move faster or slower, if I want it to move slower, I'm going to make the text take more time. So I'm going to click the end and drag it this way, right? Because I have the same amount of movement over a longer time. That means the movement's going to be slower, right? Well, that's weird. I don't want it silent during this. So I'm going to go down here and drag this music all the way through here. And now I can't see the track above. I can kind of scroll up and down, but if I want to see it, I can shrink this part up here, and it gives me more space down below. All right, so I want this music to go all the way through and past the credits. So let's see. Something like this, perhaps. Whoops. Sorry, that one. Back to the beginning here. So, right, is this a great movie? No, but hopefully it's an introduction to using the timeline editor in WeVideo. Some exploration around kind of these menu options to the left. Certainly not extensive. It'd be a very long video if it was. How to use the preview screen, how to drop things into your timeline, choose what's first, right? Like this title, what comes later, how to make transitions between them, how to layer things so you have multiple things happening at the same time, how to do some fading, both visually and with audio. Created more text over here. I made the text move on the screen. And faded things out at the end, made the music longer so it just feels like it's ending, right? You've got that text scrolling up off the screen, and you've got the audio fading out, and that feels pretty traditional, right? And that's what we would expect. And when you deliver kind of those expectations, it kind of feels right. You don't always, you can change and shift those, but they're going to feel kind of weird, right? So hopefully that's helpful, and you learned something here and can kind of keep exploring. Good luck.